Hello everybody, how's it going you guys? Welcome back to Darwin's Room right here with another episode of Movie Reviews Weekly. Today we're going to be talking about actually a movie that came out during Christmas time for some theaters and January and others. But we're going to be talking about 1917. If you haven't seen it already, I don't know what you're doing, so you should probably go watch it. I'm not going to spoil anything as usual. I don't do spoiler reviews, but we're going to talk about it. If you haven't seen it though, I recommend that you watch it. So I don't know what you're doing here, but go watch it. Anyways, 1917 follows these two British soldiers who are tasked with a really important order to deliver a message across enemy lines in order to stop an attack that is inevitably a trap. And if they don't make it there in time, many soldiers will die. Now, as soon as I saw the trailer for this movie, I wanted to see it. I love myself a really good war film. And when I found out that Sam Mendes was behind the camera and that this movie was filmed to look as if it's done in one take, that's it. That was game over. I knew I was going to get myself a ticket to go watch this movie. Because Sam Mendes, he directed Skyfall, and I absolutely love that entry of the James Bond films. That might be my favorite James Bond film. It was just really amazing. It was an incredible film. So I was really excited to see that he was taking the reins on this kind of film. And I love movies that try to film as if it's done in one take, because that is masterful. That's really, really good. Another film that did that was Birdman, starring Michael Keaton. Incredible film. That's an amazing movie. And so I had to see how they would handle that with a war film, which is typically a different kind of atmosphere to shoot in and a different kind of tension and tone that they typically lead the camera with. So I was really interested in seeing how they would handle that. So before I get to that, I want to talk about the performances. Fantastic, truly fantastic. Our two lead actors were absolutely amazing. I really loved seeing them in this movie, and I loved seeing their bond with each other, the chemistry that they have with one another. It really helped you buy into this friendship and really feel for this journey that they have to be going on. And it just makes the tense moments that much more tense because you understand what's at stake. And it just felt so much more personal. And the directing, let's get to that. I can't hold off on that for too long. As I said, beautiful directing. The cinematography of this film looks just splendid. It's wonderful. The landscape, everything is gorgeous. And the way that Sam Mendes directed it to look like one shot was done so swiftly. The film really is made to look like it's done in one take. Now, I did notice that having an eye for that kind of thing, I can tell when they would have said cut right there and then just stopped it there and then give the actors a break and all that. However, it's still very fluid. So I think if you're not really looking for those cuts, you're not going to see them, and you're just going to kind of enjoy the experience as if it's all happening in one take. So really, it was really amazing. I think they did as good of a job as they could have done. They exceeded that in this movie. So I'm very impressed, and I'm proud of what Sam Mendes was able to accomplish with this film with that one shot kind of, approach. So really, really awesome. And my only really complaint, I guess you could say, is that there was just a few abrupt story arcs. Like for our main character, the lead actor, his story arc has something very emotional happen right away almost, and it just felt a little bit too soon, and it felt very abrupt. However, you can kind of understand why they took that approach, and it made you care even more. So I can see why they did that. I think that if that was the route that they were going to take, I think that could have came just a little bit later. But other than that, it was just truly splendid, which leads me to want to talk about the characters again, because on top of the performances, these actors, they were given really good material to work with as well, because not only is the story development good, the character development was amazing. I watched this movie maybe 4 times in a row, and every time that you watch it, you kind of get something new out of it, especially the second time you watch it, because you understand things that are said much more differently the second time. If you've seen the movie more than once, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because certain things just start to make more sense, and you see the build up to certain things and the hints towards things, and it was really, really great. And what's so cool and refreshing about this war film is that it's not really so much about shooting battles and things blowing up and things like that. It's honestly more of a stealth kind of film. These soldiers, they have to sneak around and avoid the fight most of the time to get to send this message. Otherwise, it's gonna be a big fight that should not happen. So they really shifted what war films are typically about, and it was just really different, really refreshing, and it was just a new take on this genre, and I was all about it. I really enjoyed how they handled this film, because it brought me jaw-dropped. It got me jaw-dropped, and it brought me like to an emotional level. I was just very touched by this film, and again, it's very intense. It's not violent intense. It's really it's the least violent war film I think I've seen, probably. I'm pretty sure there's PG-13 war films that are more violent than this one. There's a few, of course, like more graphic or intense shots, but for the most part, it's really not that violent, to be honest. What they do to make it so intense is, again, the atmosphere, and you feel the kind of like claustrophobia of them having to sneak around and get to send this message and dodge all of this enemy gunfire and things like that. It's very tense in that regard. And for the shooting sequences that there are, also, of course, splendidly done. I really had such a good time with this movie. And I was kind of disappointed that it didn't win Best Picture, when the Oscars were on. However, I do still love Parasite. That was a fantastic movie. But I was a little disappointed that 1917 didn't win, because I was a really big fan of this film. However, it is what it is, And all of those movies that were nominated for Oscars this year were, truly good. There was some really good competition for the movies, in my opinion, this year for the Oscars. So without further ado, I'm just kind of milking it now. I'm going to give 1917 4.5 out of 5 stars, you guys. I really love this movie. It's probably one of my favorite war films, and I'm probably going to watch it a million more times throughout my lifetime, because it's just that good. And if you haven't seen it, I strongly recommend that you go watch it. In addition to that, if you don't even like war movies, I promise you'll like this one, because it's just handled in such a different way. And I went to go see it a few times with a few people, and they didn't even like war movies, but they loved this movie. So there you go. That kind of helps you consider it a little bit more. So definitely check this movie out, you guys. And if you like this episode, you can click the like and subscribe button, and you can just catch me in the next episode. Take care.